Okay, listen. We need to talk about the absolute fever dream that is Journey to the West. Honestly, if you haven't watched this, or read it, or seen one of the 50 billion remakes, have you even lived? It is literally the ultimate road trip from hell. It's basically a story about a monk who is completely useless, a monkey who has severe anger management issues, a pig who is definitely on some sort of registry, and a sand guy who just carries luggage. And they are walking across the entire continent just to pick up some books. I mean, think about it. It's the ultimate corporate project metaphor. You have one guy doing all the actual work, that's Sun Wukong, obviously, and then you have the middle manager, Tang Sanzang, who literally contributes nothing but panic and getting kidnapped every Tuesday. And yet, we love it. We are obsessed with it. Why? Because it's chaotic, it's messy, and it's hilarious. It's not just a spiritual journey, it's a masterclass in how to deal with incompetent coworkers without murdering them. Although Wukong tries. God bless him, he really tries. So let's break down the main character, the Monkey King himself, Sun Wukong. This dude is born from a rock. A rock! He didn't have parents, he just popped out of a stone egg like a surprise Kinder toy from the heavens. And immediately, he chooses violence. He's the ultimate disruptor. He learns magic, becomes immortal not once, not twice, but like 4 different times just to be safe, and then decides to fight the entire bureaucracy of heaven because they didn't invite him to a peach party. That is the level of pettiness I aspire to. The Havoc in Heaven arc is just Wukong running around, drunk on celestial wine, beating up gods, and stealing pills. It's glorious. It's like watching a chaotic toddler with the power of a nuclear weapon. He fights 100,000 celestial soldiers and wins. He is essentially the anime protagonist blueprint. But here is where it gets deep, or whatever. The universe decides he's too much. Buddha shows up, plays a little betting game with him, and slaps him under a mountain for 500 years. 500 years! That is a long time to think about your life choices. Then comes the redemption arc, which is just code for community service. He gets released, but only if he helps this monk, Tang Sanzang, go to the West, India, to get Buddhist scriptures. And to make sure he behaves, they put a golden headband on him. This headband is literally a torture device. Whenever the monk chants a spell, Wukong gets a splitting headache. It's the ancient equivalent of a shock collar. It's messed up when you think about it. The monk, who is supposed to be all about compassion, basically tortures his bodyguard to ensure compliance. Let's talk about the monk, Tang Sanzang. I have never seen a character more frustrating in my entire life. He is supposedly a high-ranking, enlightened monk, but the man has 0 survival instincts. None. A demon could put on a fake mustache and say, "Hello, I am Grandma," and Sanzang would be like, "Come in." He is constantly getting captured. "Master has been captured by a demon," is the catchphrase of the entire series. And every time, he cries. He just sits there and weeps until the monkey comes to save him. He is the ultimate damsel in distress, but bald. And the worst part, he never listens to Wukong. Wukong has magic eyes. He can see through disguises. He says, "Master, that's a demon." Sanzang says, "No, that's a nice lady giving us food." Wukong kills the demon. Sanzang punishes Wukong. Then it turns out it was a demon. Does Sanzang apologize? No. Then there's Zhu Bajie, or Pigsy. This guy? Wow. He was a marshal in heaven but got kicked out for harassing the moon goddess, so he's already problematic. He gets reincarnated as a pig man, and his entire personality is being lazy, hungry, and horny. He is the coworker who steals your lunch from the fridge and then blames the intern. He is constantly trying to quit the journey. Every time something goes slightly wrong, Pigsy is like, "All right, let's split the luggage. I'm going back to my wife." He brings absolutely nothing to the table. except comic relief and bad vibes. But somehow he's lovable. I don't know why. Maybe because he represents our base desires. We all want to just eat, sleep, and not walk thousands of miles. In a way, Pigsy is the most relatable character. He doesn't want enlightenment, he wants a nap. And then there's Sandy, or Sha Wu-jing, the most forgettable character in literary history. He was a general who broke a vase. Yes, a vase. And heaven was like, you are banished to a river to eat people. Talk about harsh HR policies. Sandu's role in the group is to say, Big brother, master has been captured, and second brother, master has been captured. He carries the bags, he mediates fights, he is the glue, I guess. But honestly, if he wasn't there, I'm not sure anyone would notice. So this dysfunctional family walks west. They face 81 tribulations. Why 81? Because 80 wouldn't be numerologically significant enough, I guess. These tribulations are mostly demons trying to eat the monk. Apparently, one bite of Tong Sanzong's meat gives you immortality. He is a walking superfood. The variety of demons is wild. You have spider women, a bull king, a scorpion lady, a guy with a golden horn, a guy with a silver horn. It's like a Halloween party that never ends. And Wukong has to figure out a way to beat them every single time. Usually it goes like this. Wukong tries to fight. The demon has some weird magical object, like a gourd that sucks you in if you say your name. Wukong gets trapped. Wukong escapes. Wukong goes to heaven to find the demon's owner. Because here is the tea. Almost every demon they fight is actually someone's pet from heaven who escaped. It's ridiculous. The bodhisattvas are terrible pet owners. Oh, sorry, my goldfish escaped and ate a village. My bad. It happens constantly. It really makes you wonder about the celestial bureaucracy. It's incompetent. The system is rigged. The demons are just employees acting out. Wukong is basically cleaning up heaven's mess while dragging his idiot boss along for the ride. It's a scathing critique of authority, honestly. One of the most iconic episodes is with the white bone demon. She tricks the monk 3 times. 3 times! She turns into a girl, an old lady, and an old man. Wukong kills all 3 disguises. The monk thinks Wukong just murdered a whole family. This is the peak of frustration. Sanzong banishes Wukong. He fires him. And you see Wukong, this invincible warrior, actually gets sad. He bows to his master and leaves. It breaks your heart a little bit, because deep down, the monkey just wants to belong. Of course, as soon as he leaves, the monk gets captured, immediately. Pigsy tries to fight and fails. Sandy fails. They have to go beg Wukong to come back. And he does, because he's loyal, even when he shouldn't be. That's the core of the story. Loyalty to people who drive you crazy. There's also the red boy who breathes fire. That kid nearly killed Wukong. Imagine being thousands of years old and getting beaten up by a toddler in a red diaper. Wukong had to call in the big guns, Guan Yin, to deal with him. It shows that even the strongest hero needs help sometimes. The overarching theme is supposed to be about Buddhism, letting go of ego and finding enlightenment. Wukong represents the mind, unruly, powerful, needing control. Pigsy is physical desire. Sandy is just consistency. And the monk is the spirit, pure but weak. But let's be real. Most of us watch it for the fights and the sass. The dialogue is hilarious. Wukong insults everyone. He calls the Yacht Emperor old man. He mocks the demons before smashing them. He has no filter, and it is beautiful to witness. The journey takes years. They cross deserts, mountains, rivers. It's grueling. And for what? When they finally get to the Western Heaven, the comedic timing is perfect. The Buddha's assistants ask for a bribe. A bribe in heaven. They don't have money, so they give up the emperor's begging bowl. And then they get the scriptures. But wait, there's a plot twist. They fly back part of the way, look at the books, and they are blank. The scriptures are empty.
Wukong is furious. He goes back to shout at Buddha, and Buddha's like, chill. Blank scriptures are the true scriptures, but since you guys are too dumb to understand that, here are some with words. It's the ultimate trolling moment in religious history.
So they get the books with words, go back to China, the monk gets a promotion, Wukong becomes the victorious fighting Buddha, Pigsy gets a job as a cleaner of altars so he can eat the offerings, and Sandy becomes an air hat. Everyone gets a title. It feels like a corporate restructuring where everyone gets a fancy new LinkedIn title, but the job is basically the same. But Wukong finally gets the headband taken off. That moment, when he touches his head and it's gone, is pure relief. He is finally free. But let's look deeper at the cultural impact. This story is everywhere. Dragon Ball? That's just Journey to the West. Goku is Wukong. Bulma is the monk, kind of. Oolong is Pigsy. It's the DNA of Shonen anime. The power up and scream trope started here. The character of Wukong is the archetype of the rebellious hero. He's Han Solo, he's Tony Stark, he's every character who is too smart for their own good and hates authority. We love him because he does what we can't. He tells the boss to shove it. And let's not forget the visuals. Whether it's the 1986 TV series with the cheesy effects, which is a masterpiece, fight me, or the new high-budget movies, the imagery is wild. Clouds as taxis, palaces under the sea, a garden of immortal peaches. It's a psychedelic wonderland. It also teaches us that the path to success is never a straight line. It's full of monsters, distractions, and people trying to stop you. Sometimes the people on your team are your biggest obstacles, but you can't get there alone. Wukong is powerful, but he couldn't carry the physical journey alone. He needed the monk to give him purpose. He needed Pigsy to remind him of worldly pleasures and to have someone to bully. He needed Sandy to carry the bags. It's a lesson in teamwork, even when the team sucks. There's also a weird gender dynamic. The Land of Women episode? The monk drinks water from a magic river and gets pregnant. A man getting pregnant. It was exploring gender roles way before it was cool. The queen of the women's kingdom falls in love with him, and it's actually the only time the monk is tempted to quit. He almost stays. He looks at this beautiful queen, this life of luxury, and he wavers. If there was a next life, he says, it's a rare moment of humanity for the robot monk. It shows that love is the hardest tribulation of all, harder than fighting a giant spider. But Wukong snaps him out of it, obviously. Let's go, we have books to get. Wukong is the ultimate cockblock when it comes to the monk's spiritual purity. He doesn't let anyone mess with the mission. He is mission-oriented to a fault. I think the reason this story survives centuries is because it's so adaptable. You can make it a comedy, a drama, an action movie, a romance. It has everything. It's elastic. It stretches to fit whatever the current generation needs it to be. Today, we see it as a story of self-discovery. Wukong starts as a monster, an animal. He learns manners, barely. He learns duty. He learns sacrifice. By the end, he is a Buddha. He evolved. He didn't lose his edge, but he learned to channel it. It's actually super inspiring. If a monkey who peed on Buddha's hand can become enlightened, maybe there's hope for us, you know? Maybe we can also overcome our own demons, procrastination, anxiety, that toxic ex, and get our own scriptures. Although, hopefully our scriptures aren't blank when we get there. That would really suck. But even if they are, maybe the point was the walk, the arguments with the pig, the times we almost died, the memories. So look, if you haven't revisited this story recently, do it. Watch the old show. Read the book if you have the attention span. It's long, fair warning. Or play the video game Black Myth Wukong. Just immerse yourself in this chaotic world. It's a reminder that life is messy, bosses are dumb, coworkers are lazy, but if you have a big enough stick and a magical cloud, you can probably handle it. And even if you can't, you can always just fly away and eat a peach. Basically, Journey to the West is the greatest story ever told because it doesn't take itself too seriously. It knows it's absurd. It embraces the weird.
And in a world that is constantly trying to be perfect and curated, a chaotic monkey is exactly the hero we need. I could talk about this for hours, honestly. The nuances of the Taoist versus Buddhist politics in the book alone are a whole other rant, but I'll spare you. Just know that Wukong is the GOAT, and Pigsy is my spirit animal on a Sunday morning. Ultimately, we are all on a journey to the West. We are all dragging our baggage, dealing with our personal demons, and trying to reach some goal that might not even be what we think it is. But hey, at least we don't have to wear a headache-inducing headband. Unless you do, in which case I don't judge. So yeah, that's my take. It's a mess, it's a masterpiece, it's a mood. Now go forth and conquer your tribulations, you beautiful monkeys.